you believe the writers of Revelation 6 are entities, not symbols of war and disease and famine. Can you explain that? I don't quite understand it.
When I started writing, I wrote a book back in 2014 called The Fourth Horseman, Ebola and the Fourth Horseman. And it's because for several years I had been giving talks at conferences on Thanatos. We get the name of the rider on the fourth horse, Thanatos, death. It occurred to me, and Hades, another named entity, I thought we've got two names here. So 4 horses, 2 are named, and they're both associated with the fourth horse. So surely the other riders are not just representations. These must also be entities. So we started digging into it, and I think Derek has been able to pin them down.
Well, this only seems new, I think, to us in the modern church, because for the last 1,600 years or so, the Christian belief system has denied the existence of other small g gods in the Bible. There is only one God. Okay, well, we'll believe in Satan, but even today in the modern church, most Christians don't really believe that Satan exists either. But in the first century...
Just really briefly, make sure that we understand, everybody, when we use the word small g God,
right,
we're referring to an actual term called Elohim, little e. The capital E, Elohim, that's God Almighty. That's the Creator.
Right.
But we're referring to entities that live beyond the world that we can see and touch.
Fallen angels.
Fallen angels,
right,
or loyal angels. There are also some who are loyal. So essentially we're saying those who are designed to live in the world beyond our comprehension.
Right.
They live in heaven or they live in elsewhere.
Right. And the Bible, God calls them gods.
Yeah.
In Psalm 82, he refers to them as gods. Exodus 12,
He says, you're Elohim.
He said, on the night that the destroyer passes through the land of Egypt, I will execute judgment on all the gods of Egypt. He wasn't talking about carved blocks of wood and stone. He's talking about these spiritual entities, fallen angels. So, if Thanatos and Hades, those were in the Greek pantheon, who were the other 3? The rider on the white horse, the first rider, there's an important clue here. He has a bow, and the word in Greek is toxon, from which we get the English word toxic, toxicity. He also is wearing a crown. Now, in English, the word crown depicts what we think kings wear, but there was different types of crown. In Greek, you had the diadem, which we see the rider on the white horse in Revelation 19 wearing. Also, the beast wears diadems. That's a crown of royalty. The crown worn by the rider on the white horse is a Stephanos. A Stephanos. That was the type of crown made of laurel leaves that the winners of the Olympic Games would wear. And it was later adopted by the Roman emperors as a symbol of their rule. Well, in Greek religion, we call it mythology, but in the Greek religion, the god Apollo invented the Stephanos. He had a thing for a river nymph named Daphne, and he chased her, and she prayed to her father, who was a river god, to save her because she wanted nothing to do with Apollo. So he transformed her into a laurel tree, and then Apollo, to honor her, created the Stephanos. Apollo was also a plague god. That's not how he's usually depicted in the mythology classes that we had in school, but he would spread disease with his arrows, toxic arrows. So you've got 2 clues here that point strongly to Apollo being that rider on the first horse. So he goes forth conquering and to conquer. We suggest, and this is somewhat speculative because John didn't spell it out in the Bible for us, but the conquest of Apollo is Western civilization. I mean, Western civilization, North America, Europe, basically derives from Greco-Roman law, philosophy, art, religion. I mean, have you noticed how many of our government buildings look like temples from ancient Greece and Rome? In fact, the U.S. Capitol, Capitol with an O-L, is named the Capitol because that's the name of the temple of Jupiter in Rome, the Capitolium. Thomas Jefferson wanted to evoke the image of Republican Rome, so we named it after the temple of Jupiter.
And it's referred to as a temple today, the temple
yes.
of democracy.
Right.
All of the hue and cry after January 6th last year, our temple of democracy was desecrated. It's not a temple. It's a place where Congress meets.
Right.
That's all.
It's supposed to be the people's house.
But they refer to it in religious terminology on purpose. So, yeah, I go into that a lot in my book, The Second Coming of Saturn. There's a lot of symbolism. Tom Horn has written about this, too, in Apollyon Rising 2012, Zenith 2016. There's a lot of occult symbolism built into the United States Capitol. The second seal of the rider on the red horse, that was pretty simple. I mean, the war, the god of war,
Can I go
Ares or
back to
Mars.
the white horse for just a minute?
Sure.
Because, I've taught for a long time that the white horse is also speech. It's a warfare without arrows, without guns, without bullets, without bombs.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yes.
I think it is that as well.
Because Apollo was the god of oracles.
And this words that's poison too.
Yes.
They're just, and that's what's happening today. America is being poisoned by words, by political rhetoric. It's awful what's going on. The lies.
Yes.
The Bible talks about them sitting around tables telling lies. And this is where we are.
You know what's interesting about that war of words idea, because you're right. Apollo is also the god of oracles. And during the second century, I think it was, that suddenly the oracles went silent.
Yes. The oracles of Apollo, who were consulted by the Roman emperors. Do we go to war with Parthia or not? Well, the oracles would give the emperors these words. But after the second century, as the faith in Jesus Christ began to spread around the Mediterranean Sea, the oracles, one by one, began to fall silent. The Pythia at Delphi, which was the most important oracle of Apollo, fell silent in the second century. The worst persecution of Christians in history began in the year 299 after the junior emperor Galerius went to an oracle near Antioch and was told, quote, "The righteous men on earth were a bar to speaking the truth." The Christians were making it impossible for the oracles of Apollo to hear from this fallen angel and deliver these false prophecies. In fact, there was one of the last prophecies to come from the oracles of Apollo was written on the wall of a Greek city in Turkey sometime in the late second century. And it's like an admission that they aren't the real God. Self-produced, untaught, without a mother, unshaken, a name not even to be comprised in word, dwelling in fire. This is God, and we, his angels, are a slight portion of God. This is from one of the oracles of Apollo, admitting, I'm not the God. We are just a slight portion of the one true God.
Exactly, admitting that the word, capital W,
Yes.
is Jesus Christ.
And this is historically documented. The reason the Emperor Diocletian around the year 300 began kicking Christians out of the army and stripping them of property and putting them in jail was because the oracles weren't speaking anymore, and they blamed it on Christians.
This rider on the white horse, he goes out to conquer.
Yes.
Conquering. What does that mean?
We think it's Western civilization. We think that the very basis of life in North America, Western Europe, which is based on Greek and Roman law, literature, art, philosophy, and religion,